So what I want to teach in a lot of my coaching classes and mentoring classes are the mechanics of the relationship. Because once you have the mechanics down, you can move forward. And the mechanics are separate from the emotions. Now, if I were to ask you, how would you define the word mechanics? What is your best understanding of the word mechanics?
How something operates.
Very good. How something operates, the structure of it, the system of it.
Okay.
And any auto mechanic who is experienced and authorized, whatever, will tell you what is wrong with the mechanical side of your car.
Right.
If there's some mechanical problem, you'll hear the noise, say that's coming from your engine. He'll hear the noise. Mm-hmm. He'll say, your belt just flopped off. Okay. Your battery is dead. So these are what you call the mechanics of the automobile, how it operates, the system. So that way when you troubleshoot the mechanics of something, you can repair it and get back on the road. And so when people understand relationships and you focus on the mechanics of it, you have a better chance of completing your long journey from the beginning all the way to the happily ever after once you understand the mechanics. Because the emotions will throw you off. If the mechanic has an emotional problem with you, if the mechanic has an emotional problem with that automobile, he doesn't like it. I one time had you remember that convertible Beamer that I had?
Yeah.
Okay, there was a mechanic in Garden Grove. He hated that model. He says, I do not like this car. He said, this particular BMW is a pain in the blank. And he says, I hate it when I see your number on my display because I know which car is coming here. And every time I see this car, I hate it because the car refuses to be repaired. The mechanics of this car were not put together well. It was a very poorly designed automobile, one of the worst that the BMW company ever put out. And so it's not like that's why I have a Toyota now. I don't care about BMW or Toyota. I want something that's reliable. I got places to go. I want that engine to start and take me to my destination. And I've had that car for 4 years now, and I've never had a problem with it. And people in Toyota keep saying, why don't you upgrade? Why don't you upgrade? Yeah, because this was the best year of the Toyota. I'm going to upgrade to a more modern, more convenient looking Toyota that doesn't have the safety rating or the reliable rating of this vehicle. This vehicle won the award of the year.
You care about the substance.
I care of the reliability. I'm going to get in there and be able to make predictions.
Yeah.
So that if it does break down, that's an anomaly, not to be expected, like that Beamer that I drove. I was always having problems with that thing. And so in like manner, when you're looking at the mechanics of a relationship, you're saying to yourself, what makes any relationship work? They're the same. That's why a good auto mechanic, generic good auto mechanic, can at least get almost any car going. So the mechanics of relationships are basically the same. Women essentially kind of want the same thing from a man. A man kind of wants the same thing from a woman. If you list the top 10 things a woman wants from a man and the top 10 things a man wants from a woman, why is it almost generic all over the world? That's the mechanics of a relationship.
Okay.
And so I'm saying once a person has those mechanics down, then they say, all right, those are the mechanics of a relationship. And how would you define a relationship? What is a relationship between a man and a woman, especially a loving one? What is it? What is the relationship that you and I have? What is the relationship that everything has, whether it's a loving, romantic relationship or a platonic relationship or even a relationship between people who don't like each other, don't even want to be around each other? Now I'm really looking at this word relationship.
Okay, how they interact with each other.
How everything interacts with each other. Okay, that's one way of looking at it. Now let's go into some of the ancient words of where this word relationship comes from.
Okay.
The word struggle.
Oh.
It's a struggle. So whether it's a loving, romantic relationship, it's not without a struggle.
Right.
If it's a relationship where they both hate each other, it's not without a struggle. You and I are friends. Our relationship as friends, coach, mentor, mentee, whatever, it's not without a struggle.
Right.
Your relationship with your dogs is not without a struggle. Your relationship with your mother is not without a struggle. So what I want people to understand is that when you're in a relationship, whether it's a loving romantic one or one you're just tolerating or one you're processing a divorce on or whatever the case may be, it's a struggle. But the mechanics of that relationship will determine how hard that struggle really is. And so the mechanics is centered around, we said, the system of the relationship, the structure of the relationship, and how the relationship, processes itself on a day-to-day basis. So it does require effort. It does require remembering. It does require compassion. It does require empathy. And this is why I'm on you quite a bit about empathy, or quick to respond verbally on something, or quick to put out a joke when you heard another joke. And I'm telling you, that's not good on the journey to love. Because remember, what is your goal on your journey to love? To neutralize the competition.
Okay.
And to neutralize the elements to where they don't matter. Your goal is to become a hoplite. Your goal is to become one of the 300 Spartans in female form. That you're going to go where numbers don't matter. So you have to go where looks don't matter, where age doesn't matter, where education doesn't matter, and where money doesn't matter, where none of that stuff matters. Because you are a woman, you can do that. A man can't do that. A man must qualify for the relationship. A woman does not have to qualify the way a man does. It's just not the same. People will debate with me tooth and nail about this, and I'll go back to Beyonce and Jay-Z, and I'll say, if Beyonce was working in Burger King with that look, that style, that singing voice, but if Jay-Z was working at Burger King, Beyonce wouldn't give him the time of day. A woman can drive any car she wants to, and a man will still fall madly in love with her. A man can't. A woman will look at him and says, I'm not going on a date in that thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going with that guy. But if the man is able to neutralize that, he'll be okay. But it's far more difficult for a man to neutralize what a woman wants in a man, assuming she wants a guy who's on top of his game when it comes to money, status, looks, possessions. It's hard for him to neutralize that, to be accepted by a woman. That's why so many men have become MGTOW. That's why so many men have become incels. That's why so many men are into video games. That's why so many men are into just doing something else.
Checking out.
I don't have time for this. Why? Because they're not able to neutralize. But the men who are able to neutralize that, the lowlifes, the scammers, the liars, the cheats, that don't have anything, that misrepresent themselves, they've figured out ways to neutralize that and get the woman. They can get the woman through deceit and through fraud, because that is one way to get to a woman. You can neutralize a woman with fraud. You can neutralize a woman with deceit. It's done all the time. You can neutralize a woman with words. That's why I tell a lot of women, when you get into a relationship at the early stages of a man, and he says, well, when we first got together, he bought me this, he bought me that, he bought me this, he bought me that. I said, that's called the recruiting budget.
Right?
What's the MO right now?
Where's the retention?
Yeah, what is the MO right now, you know?
Oh.